Hello, everyone. Thanks for watching. So I want to share with you a presentation I gave at a local real estate meetup. Wanted to share this with you because I like creating presentations, giving unique talks at meetups. And then when I do that, of course, I want to bring it back to this channel because hopefully there's thousands of others that will like to watch it and really see what it's about. This particular presentation was meant for busy professionals looking to understand what one rental at a time is and what it's all about. If you happen to belong to a real estate meetup and you're looking for a presenter, I'd love to hear from you, as I'm always looking for the opportunity to share our story. So let me share this presentation and we will go from there. Okay, hopefully it is working. Okay, so again, this is a presentation I gave today at a local real estate meetup. It was intended as a story about one rental at a time and why it's a great strategy for busy professionals. So what we're going to go through is something that I often open my presentations with, and that is the uncomfortable truths. I believe there's a lot of things that get in the way of, and stop investors, so I just like to put them out there right in the beginning so we could talk about them. I typically talk about 5, but there's a lot that I can change based on the meeting I'm at. I will share our story. Often I think it's important for you to understand who the presenter is and what their background is so you can see what's similar and maybe not similar in their story to yourself. I will share my keys to success. I always want to make sure I'm giving back and highlighting things that I think work. I want to give you my thoughts on the market, as again, these are thoughts as of late September, so they are mine, and I reserve the right to change them as things go by. I do have some core beliefs that I now cemented as far as buy and hold investing goes. I will share with you how you can follow me, as there's lots of people I speak with that want to know how they can follow what we're doing at one rental at a time. So I will share those at the end. And of course, I open it up for questions. Again, I gave this at a live meetup. If you want to do questions here, just leave a comment. And also always remember that we do subscriber questions on this channel. So if you have a question, just leave it below and I will do my best to create a video for you answering your question. All right, before we get started, before we jump into the uncomfortable truths, this is a quote that I put together that I'm actually proud of and putting my name on. And that is, financial freedom is hard, but a better financial future is easy. And I bring this up because I've been giving this talk now at least monthly. And, people like to hear about financial freedom and like to see that somebody made it. But in reality, I'm here because I want to help you have a better financial future. I think having a better financial future is step one. And then if you want to keep in the game and keep moving forward, we can talk about financial freedom. But if I can just help 1,000 people have a better financial future, I'll feel like I've accomplished something. So I like to start there. So these uncomfortable truths. Here's the first one, and you'll see what I mean by being uncomfortable. It starts off with sacrifice. Nobody likes to think sacrifice, right? So in order to, one of the keys to long-term success in this business is living below your means. It means understanding your needs versus wants. Some people call it playing good defense, right? Good offense would be making a lot of money, but good defense is not spending, right? Live below your means. Take one less vacation, have one less car. Olivia and I lived this for 15 years where we spent nothing, right? We took care of our needs. It's not like we didn't take care of our needs. Our daughter got all of her needs and some of her wants, but Olivia and I, got just our needs taken care of for 15 years. And that was a big driver because it takes a lot to get this machine going and moving and going forward. 2, you only need to be good at one part of this business. Don't get distracted with shiny objects. I can't tell you how many people, especially new investors I speak with, that are like, where should I start? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? And then they're all over the map. What market should I look in? Should I go there? Should I go here? Should I go there? And what you really need to do in the beginning is stop all that, focus, and learn your market. And we'll talk about that more going forward. But don't try 10 different things and wonder why you're not getting anywhere. You need to think in decades, not years. Again, this is specifically for buy and hold wealth, all of that. This is not a get rich quick scheme. I'm not the get rich quick person. I tell you to think in decades as opposed to years or months. So realize that this is not a get rich quick. Bad things happen, right? Real estate investing is a people business, whether you're on the buy side, sell side, managing tenants, working with contractors. People are going to disappoint you. Bad things will happen. So just realize that you need to manage for those, budget for them, and be okay when they happen, and just keep moving on, because there's lots of great things that happen, but don't let the one or two bad things happen ruin your month or your year. And then lastly, anybody can be successful at this business. One of the joys I've had on this channel is interviewing different successful investors. And you can go back and watch them. I've interviewed high school dropouts, ex-cons, people that started in their 50s, from all over the country. And know this, if they can be successful and someone's like you and has your situation, know that you can be successful too. That real estate doesn't care. Everybody can be successful in this business. I truly believe that. So our story, I'll do this very quickly, because if you're watching this channel, there's a chance you have heard it a couple of times. For me, my wake-up call happened on my 30th birthday. I happened to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, read it 5 times in a row. It kind of shook me. I realized that we were living a lifestyle that was not optimal, to say the least, because we were spending everything we made. And we knew that if we were going to be financially free someday, that we'd have to stop that. I was a very, very busy tech professional. I lived on the West Coast, traveled all around the country, ultimately having worldwide positions. So I know what it's like to travel a lot for work 6 days a week, right? The only day I would be home was Saturday, because of course you got to travel Sunday to get for a East Coast meeting on Monday morning. And I just know what it's like. I did try to invest in my backyard. Everything I read back in 2000s was invest 30 minutes from home. Unfortunately, I live in the Silicon Valley and nothing makes sense for cash flow. Nothing made sense in 2000. Nothing really makes sense in 2019. So I needed to find a better way. That meant either get on an airplane and go out of state, or get in my car and drive somewhere else. We quickly realized that I was not comfortable getting on more planes, because that's what I did for a living. So the answer was a car ride. And the first market of size that made sense was Fresno. I wanted something, with more than 500,000 people, a diverse economy, and the like. So Fresno hit the bill. Our first rental experience would have crushed most people, so pay attention. This is the Norris Drive story. So, we got it. We were excited. We bought it for $107. We rented for $10.95. We did everything right. Credit checks, reference checks for the tenants. They moved in. Unfortunately, they got divorced or separated 2 weeks after moving in. Unfortunately, we never saw another rent check. The rent went to drinking alcohol, and we ended up taking back a property in about 2.5 months that needed $15,000 in repairs. So again, that was our first rental experience. We got first month's rent and a deposit, nothing for 3 months. We got it back. We owed a lawyer $1,000 and we had $15,000 in damages, and yet we kept going. But again, realize that that's what I mean by bad things happen in this business. Our journey, our 15-year journey from our first purchase to financial freedom, we invested through a crazy seller's market, the ultimate real estate depression, and ultimately the return. So I've seen all sides. We invested on all sides, because you can't time markets. You need to understand your market, make good decisions, do good or great deals, not average. And that's what made us successful. When stuff is overpriced, we did some 1031 exchanges. For us, you can read about it in our book, where we took our 8 houses and we flipped them into 80 units, or 1031 them into 80 units of apartment buildings, or small apartments, 5, 10s, 13s, 18s. So very key part of our success was getting out of houses when they were overvalued before the crash, and into the relative safety of multifamily. We are absolutely buy and hold investors, AKA exchange, right? We exchanged out of apartments, or out of houses into apartments back in 2008. Olivia retired after 5 years, and I left in February of 18, so going on a 1.5 years. Now we spend our time giving back. In addition to that, we buy slumlord properties and turn them into pride of ownership rentals and sell them to new landlords. We do buy more and more rentals, usually with seller financing. And of course, this YouTube channel gets daily content, and I love interacting with all of you. So keys to success, we were bought in together, and I mean like 100%. Go back and think about that first story with Norris Drive and ask yourself, would that have caused a fight between you and your significant other? It was never, I thought it was, believe me, I thought there was going to be drama and a problem. I wasn't convinced I wanted to do another one because that hurt. But Olivia is far braver than I am. And she said, let's go. It's cost of doing business. We can learn from this. And we did. And she deserves all the credit in the world for making that decision. We bought deals that made sense in a seller's market, right? We couldn't wait for a crash. I don't believe you can time a market. I don't believe you can, even if you could time a market, you can't buy enough to be meaningful. So you need to learn your market and do good and great deals, is my opinion. We did that all the way up and then all the way down and back. We kept learning our market. I talk about this all the time with my students. I look every day. I looked every day for 10 years because I want to know what's going on. I want to see what's selling, what's coming on, what's coming back off, and really understand where prices are, demand, how long listings are. It's just, you get a feel for the pulse of your city by watching what's going on. We're conservatively financed folks. We don't believe chasing prices higher. When single family stopped working, we just stopped buying, and instead we 1031 to apartments. I don't believe in all these fancy formulas that show you maximum leverage is the way to success. I think it's a recipe for disaster if you're not careful. I saw lots of people worth $10 million on paper in '08 go bankrupt by 2010, and I don't want that to happen to you. So put more down, make it easier, don't stress. Again, move to multifamilies or small multis when the prices in houses get too high. That's not today. I think multis are overvalued today, but someday in the future, this will happen again. So don't be afraid to move your capital and your equity around when the time permits. One thing that's interesting that not a lot of people realize is banks started saying no to real estate investors. Even if you had 800 credit score, $1 million net worth, a W-2 job, they still said no. And this could happen again. If banks get hurt, they can turn off lending. So what are you going to do? So what we did is we went to hard money and ultimately private money because there were deals everywhere and we needed to find as many and buy as many as we could. We never stopped looking. Even when we had no money, we kept looking because we were always interested in the next rental, the next rental, the next rental. So very important. Lastly, I don't want it to sound like we did everything ourselves. We outsourced everything except finding deals and securing capital. So that meant we had property managers and contractors and painters and roofers and bankers and all these other folks. Property manager is the number one thing to get right. It takes a while to make sure you got a good one. But at the end of the day, we were just too busy and we couldn't self-manage and frankly don't want to self-manage. So we have to work in the cost of a property manager into our story or into our model. Thoughts on our market today. This is as of late September 19. I think that bigger and better, meaning more units is better than single family, has been right every year of my career except right now. In my market right now, houses produce a better return than multifamilies. I've done a comparison on this channel of a single family home, a 4-plex and a 10-plex. And the single family home with conservative metrics provides a better return. Again, it won't always be this way, but it is this way right now. I go to meetups because one of the things, obviously I like to give back, but also I'm looking to what is everybody doing? I call it the herd mentality. Back in '08, the herd was going after single family homes because they were flipping it and sometimes flipping paper. So that told me that there was a problem. So we got out. Today, everybody's a wholesaler or a syndicator, it seems like. So I watch that when I ask people what they do. Out-of-state investing seems to be in vogue again. I caution against that because out-of-state investing probably has never looked so good. But what happens when unemployment goes from 4 to 8%? What happens in those markets? In addition, a lot of local players in out-of-state markets call and talk to me, and they're like, you California people are overpaying. So I don't know what you guys are doing, they're like laughing at us when we're buying stuff that doesn't make sense. And then today, value add multifamily. There is so small supply that the people are overpaying for value add opportunities. And I know this because we sold an apartment building that needed an immediate cash infusion of 200 grand, and we got full retail value, even though there was an extra 200 grand needed, which was fully disclosed up front. So it's happening. If you are waiting for a crash, it's not going to be caused by residential lending. Residential lending is very solid today, full doc. People have 3 and 4% interest rates fixed for 30 years. So whatever caught, the '08 crash, it's not going to cause the next crash. In fact, I don't think there will be a big bubble burst. It'll probably be like a slow leak. And depending on what market you're in, it will determine how big a hole is in the balloon. If you're in the Bay Area and I see big problems, you're going to have a big hole. And if you're in a secondary market like Fresno or some other markets, you'll have a no hole or a very small, slow leak. And this is in value. Many new syndicators are not going to hit their prospectus. So I think any new syndications going on right now, there's a better than 50-50 chance your money's locked up for longer terms and you don't get your preferred returns. People are overpaying. There is too much money chasing too few deals. Thus, people are overpaying. And the people who are going to pay are the people that are putting in the money, because the syndicators only got like $1,000 in the deal. So be very, very careful. In today's market, there's nothing like owning a solid single family home rental with tenants who are buying your asset while you hustle and do your day job. I really do think a better financial future could be had with just having 1 to 4 rental properties. And I believe all of you watching this have the ability to get those 1 to 4 properties and have a better financial future if you so desire. So I believe some of my core beliefs. I believe being a good buy and hold investor is a skill. And because it is a skill, it can be learned. And once you learn a skill, you can transition it to other markets. I spend most of my time now trying to help students understand how to learn their market so they can understand what their market produces on average. And then once you know average, you can look to do good or great deals. That's really what I did. That's what built our portfolio. That's what allowed us to retire financially free, is because we knew what the market produced and then we took action on good and great deals. Again, once you learn this skill, once I learned Fresno, I could pick up this skill and go anywhere I want. It would take me time because it's not something you learn overnight, but inside 90 days, I could learn another market. And that's the beauty of learning a skill like buy and hold rental properties, is you could take that ability to learn a market, evaluate deals anywhere you want to go. I believe, again, everybody can have a better financial future just with 1 to 4 rental houses. You buy 1 to 4 rental houses, and you can have the ability to have somebody else buy your asset, have inflation in rents, and all these other great things. I do believe buying cheap properties burns cash. I know this because that's what we did in the beginning. And I've done many presentations on this YouTube channel that highlights how burning cash with cheap properties is not the best use of time. If you have the cash and just don't have time, buy turnkey properties. You can buy the pride of ownership stuff that I produce or others produce. Because it will be a great use of your money. Plus, you'll lock in extremely low interest rates on a fully remodeled unit instead of burning cash, which you have to pay for the full remodel. So when in doubt, do the math. And then finally, you can't time markets. And again, you could say, you're waiting for the crash, you're waiting for the crash. I tell you, you're fooling yourself, because when the crash happens, people get scared, you don't invest, then it turns and you miss the boat. So we bought all the way up, we bought down, and we document all of that in the One Rental at a Time story that you can get on Amazon. And lastly, think in decades, not in years. If you want to think in weeks and months, be a wholesaler. If you want to think in months, be a flipper. If you're willing to be in decades and do your day job and grow your family and all of that stuff, being a landlord, think in decades, you will have wealth. And that's tremendous. So at the end of the day, that's the presentation. That's the book I've written and very proud of. It's on Amazon. I'd love for you to go get it. Love a 5-star review. I think it's $14.99 paperback and $9.99 on Kindle. If you want to check out my website, everything I do is one rental at a time, in case the website is onerentalatatime.com. You're watching this on YouTube, so you know the YouTube channel is One Rental at a Time. I do have an Instagram account. Go ahead and follow me there. It's just, guess what? One Rental at a Time. And if you want to join me on LinkedIn, it's just Michael Zuber. Lastly, if you're still watching this, I do offer a course which you can find on my One Rental at a Time website. And if you would like to sign up for it, it's only $199. I'll give you $20 off for watching this full video. Just type in book 20, and that will not only save you $20, but I will also send you an autographed copy of my book. So that is on me. I will send that to you. I have a few left right there. I think I have 15 or so left. that I will send out to you. So again, book 20. My course is all about learning your market, comparing deals, understanding good versus great versus average, and people are getting rave reviews. In addition to that, you will have the ability to join my private Facebook group. Again, if you buy the course, you'll join my private Facebook group called One Rental at a Time Works, where I interact with students every day and really help them understand what's going on. It's the least, it's where I have the most fun. It's the least I could do if you have faith in my program, is to interact with you and help you along the way. So at the end of the day, hope you like that presentation. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will get back to you. If you're still watching, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, leave comments, share this video. If you were part of some real estate Facebook groups, share this. This is a real estate meetup presentation. So please share, and have a great day. All right, everybody, take care.